But yo, so have you been looking for new Phillies merch lately?
I actually have. I feel like I'm running low on t-shirts.
All right. Well, since you are, you and the other Phillies fans should head over to phillygoat.com to get your Philly Goat merch and use the code BTVPod for 10% off your next order. Beyond the Bank is proud to be an affiliate with Philly Goat, and as always, go Phils. Ooh, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Bank Phillies podcast. I am your host, Pete, along with my co-host, Henry. What is up, my guy?
Tough game. Tough game.
Tough series.
Yes, tough series. Series.
Right off the All-Star break.
Yeah. I don't even... I mean, it feels like last year all over again.
Yeah, I try not to have those thoughts about last year, but they make it really tough to,
It's tough to forget.
It is. No, it definitely is. And I don't know. I feel like for some reason, I just had to turn that mic down. But anyway.
I was gonna say something, but I was like, nah.
I know, let's pick it up over there. But anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll talk about this series in a second, but let's real quick just, make sure we cover All-Star Week and stuff like that. All-Star Game, Home Run Derby was pretty good. Cal Raleigh won. Both of our picks were wrong.
Yeah.
So.
I would like to say my pick is under protest because Brent Rooker losing that round by 8/100ths of an inch.
Yeah.
It's not it.
A little crazy.
Not it. Come on, man.
Now, a lot of people were a fan of that. And Byron Buxton, he struggled to even look like he could hit home runs. Not as bad as Jazz Chisholm, though. 3 home runs.
That was rough, wasn't it?
I felt kind of bad for the guy.
Schwarber hit more in the swing, or the same amount in the swing off that Jazz did in the whole Derby.
Yeah. It was a rough.
It's not even like there's 10 outs.
I know.
It's time.
And his pitcher might not help him out either, but regardless, it was rough watch for him. Not gonna lie. But and then he said the Home Run Derby was cool, and then the All-Star Game, I watched a little bit of it. I don't know if you watched too much of it.
I did not. I was at. Oh yeah, I watched some of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the All-Star Game is the All-Star Game. I don't.
Put
much stock into stuff like that.
Nah, I get it.
But that's just me.
Yeah, it was pretty entertaining. I guess the NL was up like 6-0, and then
Edwin Diaz does what he does best.
Does what he does best. It gives up the lead or whatever. So that was pretty cool to watch, I guess. And then our very own Kyle Schwarber winning it for them in the swing off, which was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah,
pretty high energy.
So I mentioned this when we were watching the game today.
Okay.
Do you think that they should do a swing off in the regular season?
Absolutely not. I'm good.
I agree. I agree.
I
heard an idea that it was like tiered to where like you play a 10th and 11th, and it's like okay, like normal baseball.
Yeah.
Then the 12th is Ghost Runner.
Yeah.
And if nothing gets done by like the 14th, it's like, all right, we're going to swing off.
Yeah, exactly. I just like, let's stop. We don't have to change everything in baseball. We already changed a couple of things the last couple of years. So I'm just like, let's just, it's already bad enough. The All-Star Game gets a lot of hate as it is. So I'm just like, we don't need any more of that.
We had 7.5 million watch, I think.
Yeah.
That was bigger than any other sport.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like I said, very own Kyle Schwarber winning the MVP. And like, honestly, I didn't know he was going to win it right away. Like, it didn't hit me until, like, the one commercial break before they came back. And I'm like, oh, wait, he might win All-Star MVP.
Right,
and I was like, okay.
Well, because his regular at bat, he flew out. And you're okay.
Exactly.
I guess this is over. And then he goes and does that.
Mets fans weren't happy because Pete Alonso was probably
course they weren't happy, dude. I don't care. I'm glad they weren't happy.
It's like, no, it's just funny, though, because they're like, oh, Pete Alonso's going to win it.
Oh, you're saying that in a swing off it means more? Well, that's what won him the game. So,
yeah, exactly.
And it was your guy that blew the save. So you deserve it.
Yeah, exactly. But overall, pretty cool, pretty entertaining. And now we're looking forward to next year's All-Star Game and All-Star Week. That's going to be in Philly.
Cannot wait.
I know. I got the hat right here.
Yeah, for the staff. Must be nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm pretty excited, but at the same time, I'm also not looking too far ahead. They did like the Declaration Day the other day. Like,
it's
right
City
then
Hall.
and there, and I was like, wow, that was quick.
Yeah, but they do. I think they do that every year.
Yeah, no, they do. I just like, and then they put the sign in the stadium. They took down the clock though.
What do you think of the logo?
Logo's cool. Logo's really cool. They did an outstanding job, but I'm not a fan of the fact that it replaced the clock in the stadium. Not a big fan of that. But then
I
again,
agree.
I mean, we weren't.
They just keep taking things
They
from
do,
us.
yeah.
That's what it is.
It's a little rough, and I hope this doesn't turn into some type of curse thing. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh.
Not that-
Curse
I'm
of the
not
clock.
gonna wood, but,
Good
yeah.
Lord. Oh man.
I'm not dealing with that this year. I don't want that to
No.
be a headline in this
No.
podcast. So,
No.
but no, it's exciting time. It's gonna be cool, like seeing how goes next year. Philly's probably gonna rock out. With that
Oh
type
my
of stuff,
gosh, it's
whatever,
gonna be
so.
insane.
Yeah.
I want to go to at least the All-Star Village, like
That's what I'm saying.
the
Yeah.
the fan experience. I want to go to that at least. I
Yeah.
want to go to everything, but
Yeah.
we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the home
I
run
don't know
derby's
what
gonna be
prices
tough.
are like. I don't know what
They might do
any
like
of
a
that.
whole thing where it's only like certain people or whatever. So I'm just like,
Well,
all
I
right,
might be in Group A for that, so I don't really
Yeah,
care.
you might be lucky, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The peons that are in the last group.
If you have an
can-
extra ticket, just let me know.
I won't, because it'll probably only what'll probably
Matter.
happen is what'll
Not
probably
kidding.
happen is because I only have one, and you're
Okay,
only
yeah.
allowed whenever you buy pre-sale stuff
Mhm.
for. I mean, I don't know if anybody else is season ticket holder, but just to give you some inside scoop, no matter how many tickets you have for the thing,
Mhm.
that's how many tickets you can buy. Like when I go to the playoffs and I get playoff tickets, I can only buy one because I only have one seat in my ticket plan.
Gotcha.
So I can only buy one All-Star game ticket. I can only buy one home run derby ticket. I can only buy one, like
Yeah.
something like that. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly.
So I don't know how expensive they're going to be if I'm going or not, but
Hey,
we'll see.
You never know. We'll see. But yeah, it should be an exciting time, and we'll look forward to that next year.
Totally.
But we're focused on right now in this season. So let's talk about this recent series with the Angels.
Not great.
Yeah,
not
not awesome,
great.
especially after the All-Star break, and you were thinking that, like, all right, maybe they did need it,
Yeah.
according to Topper, said they needed it. But just obviously just did not show out well.
Looked like they needed a longer break.
I know. Pitching really didn't help him out this series. We saw some good hitting, obviously, from Schwarber. He had a home run on his first at bat back from the break, which was pretty cool to see. But outside of that, I mean, Luzardo again struggled this series. Taiwan, the usual stuff. Then today, Ranger, tough outing for him, which was kind of worrisome a little bit. But we'll talk about that more later. But yeah, Friday night's game, tough one. Definitely, like we always talk about, chances to win that game, and just honestly couldn't come through.
Yeah,
for the
no.
most part.
It's just it's a rough loss, especially when you have runners on base in the ninth inning, and your guy Kepler comes up, and it's just
Yeah.
pitiful at bats. Like
That's what I'm saying. It's just more of like it feels like,
situationally, it just
Yeah.
we get killed.
and you feel like it's almost like being rushed a little bit, like the at bats at certain times,
Yep.
and it's like
They're pressing.
yeah, that's what we talk about all the time. Like they like press a little bit, and then it's just like you're feeling rushed. It's like, dude, just relax. Like
Yeah.
just take a pitch, see what happens, whatever. And I know like at the end of the game they had Jansen in, so I know he's a good relief pitcher or whatever, like closer. But again, the guy can get a little like out of sorts a little bit, so let's kind of see if we can get him out of his rhythm,
Right.
and try to work a good at bat or
Yeah.
get some runs in. So
It's just it's difficult to watch.
it is. No,
Stuff
it's
that.
tough. It's tough. And, just like I said, against listen, no disrespect to the Angels team. I mean, they're a young, scrappy team.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it multiple times. They're hovering around 500 for the year,
Right.
but they're still one of those teams that can put up runs surprisingly.
Yep.
You still have a guy like the name of Mike Trout in that lineup
Yeah.
that kind of scares some pitchers. I
Yeah,
guess,
yeah.
still. I
He's
don't
a
know,
nice
but-
anchor for a lot of those young guys.
Yeah. And guys like Taylor Ward, Joe Adele.
Taylor Ward,
They had
Joe
like a-
Adele. Yeah.
Taylor Ward like killed us this series. So again,
he got player of the game today, by the way.
oh, did he?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
wow,
went
okay.
upstairs before the game ended. So
Yeah, I dipped on that. I was not sitting to do that. Yeah, and he's this year's Brent Rooker.
Yeah.
Like last year. Remember like last year?
Oh,
we
I
lost the
remember.
Athletic series, and
Right,
I was talking
yeah.
about that, and it's just
that was
like-
right before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
And then he traveled with us to the All-Star break, and everybody thought he was going to get traded to the Phillies. It's like,
Yeah.
guess what? Spoiler alert: the A's just didn't want to pay any money,
Yeah, exactly.
so
They-
he
they
just
were-
kind of like hitched the ride.
Yeah.
He's the
So-
only one, but
And now everybody's saying Taylor Wood should, be the guy we trade for, but definitely not going to happen.
Yeah,
and
that's a good
I mean,
idea. Is he a lefty?
righty.
Oh well,
So I mean,
fits your
honestly,
criteria.
It does. No, I mean it does, and I mean he hits well. Obviously, at Citizens Bank Park
Yeah.
from what he showed.
Well,
so-
apparently.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Whatever.
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, if it's going to be like a trade package for that type of thing with him, then like, throw Jansen in there then too.
No,
Yes.
dude, Jansen stinks.
Well, he didn't stink this weekend. So, I mean, he only played one game. But
Yeah, exactly.
regardless. But yeah, so, I mean, I guess we could talk about Saturday's game was a positive though. I mean,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yes,
It got a
yes,
little
yes.
shaky there in the beginning or whatever.
The grand slam.
But the Grand Slam, I mean, who else but Kyle Schwarber, right?
Yeah, right.
I-
Yeah, it's
Blank check. this way. Like I don't,
Dude,
I don't know what else to say, dog. Listen,
I'm afraid.
That's a whole other discussion for another time. Yes,
Yeah,
but
I'm
it's
afraid.
Just seeing moments like that though, where Schwarber comes up and you know, like okay, possibility for grand slam, and it does happen. Like that type of stuff is just like it's great. It's great, and we were honestly right there watching it together.
Yeah, we were together. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, me and Gabby were visiting you while you were working the yard, and they had it right there. Even everybody, even in the yard, was going nuts.
I know,
like the whole stadium, like the roof blew off that place.
Yeah, it was a packed house last night. It was. It was high energy.
It was hot.
Yeah, it was.
It was hot.
Yeah,
Dude, I was sweating the whole time.
Yeah,
it was rough.
And I also want to talk about Harper's home run, which is huge. I feel like later in the game, put some insurance runs on the board, which they needed. So, and it's good. You saw the replay of the home run, right?
Yeah,
or, like, probably saw it or whatever.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if you're still.
I was in the stand. We were doing standing room at that point, and we just found a spot to watch the last inning and a half. Yeah. So we got to see his home run.
Yeah. So another one of his violent swings that we. Honestly, I feel like we haven't seen in a long time. Yeah. For the most part, just because we've seen him hit home runs. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But that one he pulled, I think it was towards center field, and I'm pretty sure. Just the power and the swing.
It was in one of those small sections.
Yes, and we're used to seeing that though from Harper, and these last couple
haven't seen it as much.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. So it was good to see, and I was really glad that he came up in that moment.
I think he's back.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 home runs in 2 games, and then obviously today he didn't hit one, but things happen.
But and the good thing is the way he's been speaking lately.
That's a third of what he had all season so far.
Yeah,
in 2 days.
Yeah. And the way he's been speaking lately after games is kind of a good thing. Yeah. He's kind of saying I'm feeling good. The wrist is better. It's been good, right. And I like to hear that because there were some times where it's he's saying stuff, and I'm like, dude, are you all right?
Yeah, when he said that, I think it was right when he came back. He was like, yeah, we just decided this thing isn't going to get any better, so I just got to come back and play. It's what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man.
Yeah. It's a little worrisome. But he did say he had the one quote before the All-Star break and was I'm Bryce Harper. I know what I could do.
That was badass.
That's what I'm saying.
That.
That's the type of confidence. And he talked about it last night on post game with Murph in LA. Is just making sure I keep that confidence. I'm telling myself that I am confident. I'm Bryce Harper. I can do this type of thing. Right. And it's that's great to hear as a fan. It's just because we're gonna need you to be Bryce Harper as we go down this stretch. So it's definitely good to see. I'm feeling good, and seeing the power still there is definitely something that is making me feel more comfortable. Whatever. Yeah, definitely. So I'm just all right, cool.
Just glad that he's back.
Yeah. Let's talk about today's game real quick too. Definitely some things that were not the greatest. Ranger did not have a great day. Screwed me in fantasy, so shout to him, I guess. But just not the greatest day from Ranger. Lord. And his velocity was a little worrisome.
Sitting 90 or sitting 92 and being consistent and everything else is fine. It's on the back end, but it's fine. When you sit 88, that's not enough. That's just not enough. Something's wrong. He's hurt, or he's got dead arm or something. Yeah. And he may not have the stamina at this point. The last 2 seasons, last year and this year, it seems like after the first half, he's just my arm doesn't have it anymore. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. He had the back problem. He had this. He had that. It's the injury prone stuff, that may be the reason they don't bring him back.
Yeah. And I was just going to say, is that I saw people talk about on Twitter after the game real quick, but they were just this is the reasons why they're so hesitant on giving him that extension or bringing him back just because of this type of stuff. And it's can he withstand the energy throughout the whole season? Yeah. And it's just today, I saw a curveball. It was at 69 miles per hour.
Yeah, 68, 69.
Now I know there's certain pitches, some pitches have that that are around that, but for the most part.
Moyer.
Yeah,
they're all 80 years old, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So you're seeing that type of thing. You're just a little worried, and I'm just I don't like that.
Right.
I don't like that. Right. You know. So I'm. I don't know if he's injured or not. I don't know. Or maybe just like you said, dead arm. So.
Whatever.
I guess I'll find out after.
That whole game just pissed me off.
Yeah. I'll hear what Topper had to say afterwards when we're done and see what he had to say or whatever. So.
Sure, it'll be. Engaging conversation.
Yeah. Nothing from the offense today as well. Just couldn't get anything together. They had opportunities early in the game in the first inning, and then Castellanos double play or whatever, so they didn't get anything out of that inning. But Otto Kemp hit his first home run in Citizens Bank Park, so I guess that's a positive.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing him still hit the ball was a little rough today in the infield, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess. Yeah. Obviously, he's not going to be everyday third baseman. And now with, real quick, I guess I'll note Alec Boehm on the 10-day IL with the rib injury.
And the boogeyman is back.
Yeah.
Weston Wilson.
Yeah.
He rises from the dead again.
Here we are. We're talking about Weston Wilson again. Didn't think the day would come where we'd be talking about Weston Wilson again, but here we are. So, yeah. No, I don't understand. I don't get it. But again, people have said though, it's like who are you gonna really call up?
That's what I asked you.
So, yeah.
I said, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, who are you gonna call up? Buddy Kennedy's a Toronto Blue Jay.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that. And then
he's gone.
Yeah, Cody Clemens.
Kemp has to play third. Yeah, Cody Clemens is gone.
Yep.
Kemp has to play third because Boehm's out.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And I really, 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 really hope they don't try and put Weston Wilson at third.
That's happening.
I'm like, no, I don't think it is. I saw something from Topper the other day. I believe it was from Destiny Legardo on Twitter.
Okay.
She said that the plan is essentially going to be Rojas, Marsh for center, Kepler, and Weston Wilson for left, and then third base is going to be predominantly Otto Kemp.
Okay. Well,
and then Harper at first, Stott,
the usual, whatever.
Yeah. The fact that we have like 4 platoons going is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, and it's
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. I see people in the comments and just like, dude, why is this all happening?
Platoons work if you have a guy like Jeff Jenkins.
Yeah,
remember Jeff Jenkins? I mean, really. Platoons work sometimes, but not 4 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's too many.
Exactly, especially with a team like this. I feel like
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, it sucks to see Boehm go out, but we'll see what happens. I mean, Topper was saying it could be 3-4 weeks, could be less. Couldn't really give a timetable. I mean, with that type of stuff, with the ribs, I mean, that could
you
be
literally
like,
can't even do anything for it.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the worst part.
So
it's like just take it easy and try not to breathe too heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm curious what happened with that. We talked about it last night.
Yeah,
and you and Gabby were talking about it because of Boehm's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like
Shout
she
to them.
Yeah. I'm not talking crap on them at all.
No,
but I'm just saying,
absolutely
like, they didn't show the X-rays were negative before the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
He takes the All-Star break and like went out, did whatever, like relaxed. I don't know what he did.
Yeah,
and then comes back and he has a crack in his rib. It's like it just doesn't make sense.
It's a little weird.
I don't think I think it was one of those things where like maybe he was fragile and he moved wrong once and was like, oh yeah, it just cracked.
Yeah, exactly.
Like last night, they said he felt something in the rib in his last at bat because he went 0 for 4. They said he felt something in his rib. I have a feeling that he may have twerked. I'm
it's great.
He might He might have like torqued his body the wrong way.
Yeah,
and then like. It was just that fragile that it just caused a small crack. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hope he comes back soon.
Yeah.
I can't keep doing this.
It's definitely a hole in the lineup, and hopefully when he comes back, I mean, he's back to usually. So we saw it happen last year where he got that injury late in the season.
Yeah.
And it was never the same.
He turned on the waterworks every time.
Exactly. But yeah, so outside of that though, like today's game was just like absolutely brutal. Like nothing was really happening throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And just couldn't put together anything. And again, the pressing thing, like just not timely hitting,
Yeah.
and they couldn't come through. Even if you're down like 5-1, and you don't have to get every run back in that inning, just kind of chop away a little bit.
Well, that was my point when we were in the 5th, and I was like, it's 6-2. Like this is very, or 6-1. Like this is very much still in reach.
Yeah, I mean,
it felt like it was the 7th.
Never score is really safe in baseball today.
But like, if you get 1 or 2 runs in one inning and then nothing for 2, and then you get another couple runs, you're good.
But
then you gotta trust your bullpen, which
exactly
kind of difficult.
Which real quick note, I said earlier, Max Lazar, I'm buying stock on that.
Yeah, good luck.
He's been decent. I mean, even not even just like games like today, but like games where we're like we actually need him to come through, and he's actually pitched pretty well.
Yeah,
so,
well,
I mean, you got to take the small positives from this bullpen right now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So it's just
hard. We're a contender. I thought these days are behind us.
Well,
when a guy who's in the minors is pitching okay, and we're like, oh, buying stock.
I know we've said that a couple of times already.
I mean, really, like
Seth Johnson buying stock? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, just not really.
He got his first win last night. Shout out to him, by the way.
Did. That is true.
He did get his first win last night.
Good point.
Pretty cool.
Good point. But yeah, just overall not a great series. They've lost the last 3 series now.
Yeah.
Even dating back before the All-Star break. So
the West Coast is not friendly to the Phils.
No, they're not. Well, yeah, exactly. Even at home, apparently. So I don't know. Let's just hope that.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm gonna make my picks later for the upcoming series, but we got some tough teams facing soon. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. But all right, so we're gonna have couple guests on this next block, whatever. So let's call our friend Kyle.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. All right. So now we are bringing on host of the 3-0 Take podcast, sunflower seed connoisseur, closet Phillies fan, and fellow Bryce Harper fanatic, Kyle Corwin. What's going on?
How are you guys doing? That's honestly that's one of the bigger honors I've received in my life, being bestowed the honor of honorary Phillies fan.
Yeah, I mean, you ride for the Phillies almost as much as I do, but not quite. Not quite. At least I have somebody in our fantasy group chat to take down the Braves fans, because there's way too many, man. Way too many.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't feel the bumps and bruises of 162 for the Phils like you guys do, but when my sweet young prince Bryce hits a little bit of a When he hits a little bit of a skid, I mean, I feel it just about as strongly as anybody. But I'm glad to see he's got a decent turnaround to start the second half. So
yeah, we actually just mentioned that 3 home runs in 2 games, and then obviously today didn't get one, but that's a third of what he had coming into the All-Star break. So we'll take it. So how was your before we get started into your Red Sox questions? Because for those people who don't know, Kyle is a Red Sox fan, so we're going to preview the series a little bit. How was your experience at All-Star Week and the Home Run Derby and all that stuff?
Man, it was awesome. That was my first All-Star Week experience. My co-host Nate, who I do the 3-0 Take with, he had gone to All-Star Week when it was in Denver, out in Colorado.
Okay.
Got to experience that a little bit. So this was his second go around. But man, I tell you what, I love going to these events where there's such a strong community of just energetic, passionate baseball fans. Like I had the fortune of going to the World Baseball Classic back in 2023, and then sort of similarly in that regard, this All-Star Week was yet another example of just people coming together that love baseball, and it was really cool to see.
Yeah, that's kind of how it felt. Like I texted you guys last season, how there was a fan from every team, or every team was represented somehow at the London series. And that's more so what it felt like, not just Phillies versus Mets. Mm-hmm. It was just everybody there having a good time. Yeah, that sounds awesome. The Home Run Derby in person must have been unbelievable. I can't even imagine. I know you guys mentioned it on your pod, but like, wow.
Yeah. I think one of our bigger takeaways was that, and I feel like we've heard other people say this, but we feel like that's definitely a more in-person kind of event, where like TV, sure, like, baseball fans are going to love their Home Run Derby regardless. But I feel like we were really able to experience the fullness of the event in person, because you're not having to worry about a split screen that ESPN's trying to manage, whatever it may be. But in person, man, it was you hear about guys hitting home runs far. You can only hope that guys can hit home runs that far when it comes time to see it in person. But when you actually see balls being hit at or near 500 plus feet, it's a sight to behold.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, we already talked about it before, about like, looking ahead to next year and it being in Philly, and just like with that ballpark, I mean, the ball's gonna be flying there. So I can't even imagine what it was like seeing in person. Real quick question, because I saw a lot of it being talked about on Twitter, but like how was the crowd energy there at that stadium? I mean, like people were kind of like clowning them a little bit because it looked a little empty at certain times, but I'm guessing the energy was pretty good, right, for the most part. Yeah,
the Derby, I think it maintained for the most part. I do have to say, and not to be the old man yelling at the clouds, but I think because of the the speed, the nature of the speed that they have, introduced to the Derby with the timer and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it lulls people to sleep a little bit. I think it actually has the opposite effect of what they were going for, because you kind of, I mean, and maybe this was just me, but I would venture to say there's probably other people that felt the same way, but you kind of become numb after a while of just seeing pitch after pitch after pitch. But, when you go back and look at clips from the more traditional derbies where you've just got the 10 outs, you kind of have no choice but to be locked in for every pitch, because you're like, okay, if this goes out, great. If not, that's a strike. That's a strike against his 10. So you feel more locked into those. But when it's just pitch after pitch after pitch, trying to cram in as many as you can in 2 minutes or whatever it may be, it after so many rounds of that, after a while, I think people lull into a little bit of a daze. But all in all, though, it was still a great event. I was glad that we were able to go.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm guessing moving on to like the All-Star game or whatever, and like the whole swing off, like that was crazy. I mean, sitting at home for me, I mean, like I kind of got a little energy from that, the swing off, and like how much momentum it was kind of bringing. Like obviously when it got to like the bottom of the ninth, and everybody's like, oh, this might go to a swing off or whatever. And it's like the momentum from it just kind of like shifted everything, I feel like, for the most part. And especially, I mean, with who they picked, or for what each manager picked, I mean, it would have been nice to see like a guy like Judge Ohtani, but apparently they already left.
They were hitting the showers.
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
Yeah.
I guess so. So I guess that's the swing off energy was probably awesome too, right?
Yeah. So both of us were actually standing out at the Chop House, and when the game, nine regulation come to a halt, we're standing there going, wait, now are we dealing with extras here, or are we dealing with something else? Because honestly, I think us, as well as a lot of the people that were around us, had even forgotten that the swing off was next in play. And immediately you just feel this shift in energy, like you guys are talking about, where we're looking around all of a sudden, and I even had to look to a guy that we were talking to with as the ninth came to a close. And I told the guys, like, we need to hold our ground, because if they keep these doors to the Chop House open, like, we're in play for a swing off homer here. Yeah. And they ultimately, I think they ended up closing the doors, so we had to call an audible. But, you definitely sensed a shift in energy, like you said. And I think that was a really, really unique way to wrap up a game that, as we know, has no real impact on outcome or anything. So it was cool to see.
I think it was really cool to see the Hank Aaron tribute too. I know you guys touched on your pod. Like that was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that was great.
Man, I tell you what, I try to hold it together on stuff like that, but even I had to. I'm sitting there. We're down the first base line for the All-Star game, and so I'm sitting there, and even I had to, turn away and kind of pretend like I'm like, brushing my face off a little bit, because I tell you what, man, I was losing it, because when they shot that firework off from home plate, to mimic the homer, and then they wrap up the tribute and they immediately pan to his wife. I'm like, power to her, man, because I don't know how I would have kept it together if I was in her shoes. Because I mean, talk about a powerful moment.
Yeah.
And I think they did an exceptional job of capturing the emotion that was in that tribute and behind that tribute on TV as well. I went back and watched it the next day. It was on the flight. It was on the back of the headrest on my plane as I was coming back
nice.
The next day. So I got to see it from both perspectives, and I think they did a great job with that all around. So bravo to everybody behind that decision. So very cool.
I think it was really cool that because one of the guys asked or said in our group chat, like, could you guys see that video that was on the field? And you guys said yeah, and we were all like, oh, thank goodness, like you guys were able to see that, because when we watch it like live on TV, it's like, oh, that's really cool, but is that just like some piece of technology? I'm glad you enjoyed the trip, but we, now there's real baseball that counts is starting again. How did you guys do in this past series, like the first series out of the All-Star break?
You're talking Sox?
Yes, talking Sox. Yep.
Yeah. So we just wrapped up literally moments ago. Just salvaged a win against the Cubs. We were able to stave off a sweep. So fortunate for that, because even though you lose the series, with the way they were able to string together some runs late in this third game today, it really kind of made you feel like you're walking away with like I know it's a 3-game series, but you kind of feel like you walked away with a split, or at the very least didn't feel like you walked away losing the series. You hear all the time about getting the win on getaway day, like the importance of that, and for them to be able to do it against a good Cubs team. I mean, Cubs are no joke this year. I think that was huge, and I think that was big for their momentum that they took into the break, having won 10 in a row before everybody converged on Atlanta. So
yeah, for sure. The one question I have for you, I know you guys talked about it on your podcast, and obviously it's been one of the biggest stories so far this season with Red Sox trading Rafael Devers to the Giants. I feel like, honestly, for me, like, seeing the Red Sox right now is like they're almost kind of playing better without him since they traded him. And I feel like it's been one of those things that's kind of like shifted momentum for them. Like, how do you feel about it right now? And like, I mean, is that true as of what it's showing for this team right now, or no?
Yeah, it's tricky, because when this first happened, I
remember.
Oh, I was not happy. I was like, there's no way that you just traded Rafael Devers. And with so much of this is the fans that we are, we're only granted so much access into sort of the inner workings of these decisions. Like, we're really only made aware of what these reporters come out with, even what some of the front offices come out and say, even if it's a pre-scripted narrative that they're trying to push. But we're pretty limited on that front. But I was just saying, like, when it happened, I'm like, there's no way that he could be that much of, I don't want to say a clubhouse cancer, but because some people were saying that, and I had a hard time arriving at that point. But if he's this much of a distraction, I'm like, there's no way that as adults you can't have everybody in the room and try to figure out a way to make this work for the best hitter on your team. But the more things that come out, you hear comments. Devers had some things to say when he got to San Francisco. You have the Will Clark news come out where you hear that maybe Devers stood him up a little bit. There's things that come out, and then there's also things that you just aren't made aware of. So you're stuck left trying to craft your own narrative, I guess, as a fan based on what you hear. And the more that came out, the more I felt like, okay, maybe Devers, maybe he's got a little more baggage that we're not hearing about. And I was unsure, because I think they were still treading a little bit of water after the deal, sort of trying to recollect themselves and reestablish their identity. But then they hit this 10-game run, and they just go on a tear, and then it's one of those situations where you kind of wish the break didn't happen, so you can just keep riding that momentum. But all in all, though, since the deadline, I have to say, Craig Breslow's comments about, we could look back on this trade and we will have won more games than not. And I'm sitting there going, I don't know how that's possible. But
exactly.
To be quite honest with you, I don't know how you would really measure that. So, I mean, you either have Devers or you don't. So you're only going to know one way in terms of how that goes. But if I tell you what, man, if they can reassert themselves into this World Series contender conversation, and I think they have with that run they went on to kind of get back into the mix. I think maybe we look back on this Devers thing and go, crazy as it sounds, maybe that's the shift in vibes that they needed. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. It's so odd, because a lot of talking heads, we were talking about this earlier when we were watching the game. A lot of talking heads pick the Red Sox and Phillies to be the World Series matchup. And with the AL so wide open, I feel like that's definitely still a possibility. Hopefully we hold up our end of the bargain. I don't see we're in a tough spot right now, but I think this upcoming series is going to be a real good measuring stick. What do you kind of expect to to see between these two teams?
I see. So for the Red Sox, I mean, obviously, I just got done kind of talking about the run they went on, and hopefully they can, take this 1 out of 3 series versus the Cubs and sort of make some adjustments to the approach and get back on the horse, if you will. But for the Phillies, I feel like we're going up against, all in all, a good team. But I think we're going up against a Phillies team that is feeling the effects of the summer a little bit. I actually did a little digging around on the East as a whole. And I don't know if you've been made aware of this, but I found out in my research that since June 1st, only one team in the National League East is over 500.
Yep,
and you'll never guess. You'll never guess who it is. The Miami Marlins. Yeah. So we're going up against a Phillies team that, as anticipated, is trying to stave off a tough division in the East. And I would hope for the Phillies case that we're not reaching a point. I saw Ranger had a rough go of it today.
Yep.
I hope we're not at a point where some of these guys who have had good starts to the year are reaching a point of burnout or regression, because, really since opening day, and I'm hoping you guys maybe can give me some reason to think otherwise about this, but I've obviously been riding this Phillies train for a few years now, and for good reason. They've given us good reason to believe that they're a World Series contender. But I looked at, just the regression in terms of playoffs or postseason success over the last few years. You're going from correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was the World Series appearance, and then it was the
NLCS.
NLCS.
Yep. Yes.
Right. And then yeah. So, you look at that trend, and, obviously that's not what you want as a Phillies fan. And so I just looked at that and I go, I'll give the Phillies this year, like 2025. And, if I don't see a massive improvement, especially with some of these guys that Phillies fans love so much getting older, it's like, I don't know how much longer I can sort of come to bat for the Phils if the regression continues. But, they're still holding their own. So I'm optimistic for them in that regard. But to your point, I think it's going to be a good measuring stick for both teams. It seems like they're kind of coming at this series from two different directions, we'll call it. But all in all, though, I'm excited for this one for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be an entertaining series, and because my stepdad is actually a big Red Sox fan, so I've already said to him, I'm like, that's just what the Phillies need, is kind of a, for the most part, red hot Red Sox team who's kind of right, young and figuring things out, and it's now with us where it's kind of sluggish out the break. So definitely going to be an entertaining series. I can't wait. Yeah. I feel like it's always, I always talked about it before, anytime we match up with AL East teams, whether it's Red Sox, Yankees, any of those teams,
Blue Jays,
it always ends up being a good series, and it's always one of the entertaining ones, I feel like.
For sure. Definitely.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm looking forward to this. And, honestly, when the Sox are in town, if the Phillies are interested in maybe discussing a trade regarding Bryce, I'd thoroughly enjoy that, and I would entertain that strongly. So, anything, we trade away one of our stars. Maybe it's time for the Phillies. Maybe if they're looking to ship things up, go on a little 10-game run, maybe it's time that they say farewell to one of theirs. So, I'm open to anything.
You will have to pry him from our cold dead hands. There's no way that they trade Bryce Harper. There's no possible way. No possible way.
That's what I said about Devers. He's 8 years or something left, and here we are shipping him out west. So, don't be careful.
I guess, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Be careful. Be careful with the absolutes and the definites, because you never know.
Yep. Definitely. But thank you so much for coming on. We actually have I grabbed a couple bags of my Chinook seeds and I put them up for the pod today, since you were on. Make sure you go check out 3-0 Take Podcast. They cover all things MLB. Kyle, obviously, thank you for coming on. Nate, he does a great job as well. Maybe we'll get him on for the Yankees. But yeah, thank you so much for your time today, Kyle.
Yep, thank
you. It's been
Kyle.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Best of luck. And, if there was a National League team that I was going to be, indifferent about the outcome, I'm not going to be thrilled if the Phillies take the series, but,
Yeah.
I'll accept it because, they got a good squad this year and I'm hoping for the best for you guys. So
Definitely.
appreciate you guys having me on.
All right. Thanks so
Have
much.
a good one, man. Do you want to break the news?
So for our
Crazy
YouTube
news.
audience,
Yeah, our YouTube audience.
in the middle of that Kyle Corwin interview, the Phillies signed reliever David Robertson. More than $5 million. That's in the words of Jeff Passan. More than $5 million.
So I'm just going to say this right now. I feel like I deserve some credit for this. I spoke into the universe.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Before the season started,
I told you so. Okay,
posted
Spike Eskin.
on-
I don't want.
I put it on X.
Okay.
That, we should just sign him and bring him home, and they did. So
Unbelievable.
welcome home, David Robertson.
This is the tweet from Jeff Passan. Right-handed reliever David Robertson and the Philadelphia Phillies are in agreement on a 1-year deal, as Ken Rosenthal reported. Robertson will receive more than $5 million for the rest of the season on his deal, which is for a prorated $16 million.
16 mil we're giving him?
5
Oh,
because
5.
So
wait.
essentially they signed him for 16, but they take the service date from when he starts. So he's getting 5 out of the 16.
Interesting.
Phillies need relief pitching badly. That was the last sentence of that tweet.
Well, hey, never know.
Not wrong.
He's not wrong at all. But anyway,
Man.
crazy news. Real quick before we bring on our next guest, I saw this thing that came out last week before the All-Star break. Fox Sports MLB posted on Twitter, and it said, Phillies legends, this is the Phillies all-time lineup. Would you make any changes? So they dropped the graphic and did like the whole like lineup and like field thing, whatever. So I'm gonna say the names and I'm gonna get your opinion on it and whatnot.
So do you want me to just go yes or no kind of thing?
Yeah, why not? Right?
And if I have a no, do I have to have a replacement?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll do that.
All right.
So here we go.
That makes it tougher, but okay.
So starting at manager is Charlie Manuel. DH is Bryce Harper.
Whoa. I got to say yes or no here.
I was going to say the whole thing, though.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
I thought I was going one by one.
Nah, we're going to say the whole thing.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I won't cut that far.
Go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead.
All right, so here we go. So with manager Charlie Manuel, DH Bryce Harper, catcher is Darren Dalton, relief pitcher Tug McGraw, third baseman Mike Schmidt, shortstop Jimmy Rollins, second base Chase Utley, first base Ryan Howard, left field Bobby Abreu, center field Lenny Dykstra, and then right.
Who? You said Landon Dykstra.
No, I said Lenny.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. I'm losing it, man. That
And then-
David Robertson thing really screwed me up. I'll tell
Lenny
you.
Dykstra. All right, right field Richie Ashburn, right, and then starting pitcher Steve Carlson.
I think I'm fine with every position except for center field.
Okay.
I just feel like there has to be like a better one than Lenny Dykstra. Like, I mean, you mentioned him. No, I don't think it's Victorino. I don't. But like,
Yeah.
you have like, who was the guy that it was like? Oh man, what's his name? I don't even know if he was a center fielder. It was like 30% of the world or 70% of the world's covered by water. 30% is covered by Gary. Is it Gary Maddox?
Producer.
Who is it?
Gary Maddox was the center fielder there.
Okay, so I think it was Gary
All right.
Maddox because he was like so quick and stuff. Whatever. They were comparing him to Rojas when Rojas was out there running around.
There you go, yeah.
But I mean, a guy like that, like Lenny Dykstra was good as a role player, but he wasn't here long.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, and I feel like you kind of might have to. You can't because you won a championship.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say maybe manager you change out. You put Connie Mack,
Maybe, I don't know.
but he
I
didn't
love
win a
Charlie, man.
championship.
Yeah.
And they lost a lot when he was here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I can't really, like it's tough. He had a stadium almost named after him. It was still Shibe Park, but still, like it was called
Yeah.
Connie Mack. So I don't know, man. That's tough.
It is tough.
I just changed center field. Moral of the story.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly was kind of on the fence with like I spoke about earlier, like right field with Ashburn. I know like he's like so iconic in the Phillies organization, the franchise.
Yeah,
I
he's
know
one of the all time greats.
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. But I just like a guy like Jason Worth. I mean, when he was here in his time with the Phils, I mean, he really balled out for us. I mean, for the most part. So I'm not comparing him to Richie Ashburn. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying he has some space to say, hey, like I could be involved in that. And the only other one was maybe like we actually talked about before, like with the whole like the relief pitcher thing with like, you know, they had Tug McGraw listed, but at the same time, you can't like deny that Brad Lidge had like a crazy historic season for us in 08.
Well,
you know, being perfect. So it's like that one might be a little dicey for me too, like a toss up, but
I think they're both essentially kind of in the same thing. So as a whole, Brad Lidge's season was a little bit better, but at the same time, Tug McGraw was on the mound for the first championship we've ever gotten.
Yeah.
And they both weren't here super long. They both regressed as soon as that happened. Like,
true, yeah.
I understand why they want to put McGraw there over Lidge.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
No, yeah, for sure. It's great points. So, all right. Let's bring on our next guest.
Yeah. Change out that battery, bro.
All right, we are back for, I guess you could say, the second half of this podcast for the most part. And we have another special guest joining us today, longtime Red Sox fan, co-commissioner of our fantasy baseball league, also fantasy football stuff too as well. But and it's Stepdad Mike. What's up, man?
Hey,
what's up, Mike?
Great to be here with the boys.
I know. This is like an interesting thing that
he was on opening day too.
Yeah, he was home opener.
From what I can remember.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of it for YouTube viewers. You know, you probably saw him real quick,
right.
whatever. He was there helping us out. So.
And I had gotten some feedback after that said I would probably never be invited back on. So, happy to be here and buck the crowd.
But yeah, no, it's we're happy to have you. It's you know, we talked about it before, and I figured this would be a good idea to talk with Henry. I mean, you know, the Red Sox coming into town. We just had Kyle on, who's a big Red Sox fan, so we talked some of that. And I feel like, you know, Red Sox are one of those teams that like I respect.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I like them. When I went to Fenway, they were all awesome and everything else. So
fans are good.
It was cool.
Yeah. And I have
if I had an AL team, that would probably.
Yeah,
be
I was gonna say. I mean, unfortunately, I do own a Rafael Devers Boston jersey, the one that. Yeah,
you never told me that.
Yeah. No, I thought I did. No. Well, that's news to everybody. So I do.
That's okay because that actually came from Stepdad Mike.
It did.
Oh, okay. All right.
It did.
And Stepdad Mike was smart. And when you get the real jerseys, the actual City Connect, they don't have a name on the back in Boston.
That's true.
So anybody who wears number 11 from now on with the Red Sox, you've got his jersey. This was actually a Xander Bogaerts jersey that I got on clearance.
Okay.
But I said it was a Justin Turner jersey because he wore number 2.
So true.
Right now, it's like, you know, so
you can do whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. That's smart. Hey, that's smart.
Hey, man, listen, I'll keep that jersey around for like my memorabilia shop or something.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that
definitely.
You know, we'll see what happens with
it. Well, it's a classic now.
Yeah, it is. So real quick, if you want to just give us a little, like, you know, story, like classic, whatever, like how you became a Red Sox fan and, you know, growing up, because you're all Boston sports, but I know you mainly, I feel like you mainly follow Red Sox.
Without a doubt,
you know, all around.
Baseball was sort of the first sport that I was really passionate about. As far as watching, I wasn't passionate about playing any sports because I wasn't good at them. But, you know, so growing up in Massachusetts, you know, it was only about the Red Sox. Even when the Patriots started winning those Super Bowls, the Red Sox were still always the number one thing going on in New England. So I started going to a couple of games when I was, you know, relatively young, preteen or so. First games that I remember probably were like 1976, 1977. So right after, you know, Jim Rice and Fred Lynn had come up as prospects in 1975. And, you know, as you said, if you were like a closet Red Sox fan, if you're a Phillies fan and you respect what the Red Sox are, there's a real reason for that now. And that's really over the last, you know, 10 years or so. The Red Sox have become very much like the Phillies in that they're a blue collar team. These are guys that go out, they scrap, they play hard. They're not afraid to get their uniforms dirty, and it's not about ego. These aren't, you know, guys who are really trying to put themselves ahead of the team. And I know that's probably a big part of the reason that Rafi Devers was traded to the Giants was because he sort of put himself ahead of the team a little bit, and they don't want to sit for that, and that's really the way the Phillies are too. I think that the Phillies fans, for as much heat as they take from time to time, especially Eagles fans.
Okay. All right.
I knew it was good.
I really think it's just that those Phillies fans really
they just care.
They appreciate the guys who go out and work hard.
Right.
So I started following the team then, got to see more games over time. Was like a fanatic about statistics and that sort of thing. I'm a big numbers guy, so I like to dig into those numbers and that sort of thing. Liking what I see in 2025, not loving it, liking it. And watching the Red Sox is a labor like, because it's hard to love them because they break your heart a lot of times.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I got thrown off by that Eagles thing. I don't know. I was gonna say something. I totally spaced. No, it's funny that you mentioned the Devers thing. Like, I mean, when we talked about it with Kyle, it almost seemed like when they brought up when the plane finally lands and everybody gets home for the first time, because didn't it happen when they were on the road, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
Or were they home?
Yeah, no, they were away, and actually you had the Red Sox owner, John Henry, show up to have a discussion with Devers. This was about a week or so before he was traded. And I think they really wanted to try to smooth things over.
Yeah, they flew out their private.
Yeah.
I did hear they flew out.
They wanted to get on the same page, and I do think that Devers was hurt over some things. I think there was maybe a misunderstanding about what Alex Bregman was going to be when he was brought in, and some guys, and I'll use Bryce Harper as an example. Some guys get paid, and the first thing they think about is, how do I go out and earn it?
Yeah.
And Rafi Devers got paid, and I hate to say it, but to me, it changed him as a person. It changed him as a player. He expected certain treatment that teams do not necessarily afford to players, because the goal is supposed to be, how do we all win together? Not how do we favor you as the highest paid individual.
Right.
And it just, unfortunately, it didn't work out. And he is a potential generational bat at third base, but he's got an iron glove, and the ball just dinks off of there every time it gets near him.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. Like, with them on the road, he comes back off the plane. Obviously, they call him off the plane. He gets all his stuff and he gets shipped out. People are there waiting. And
the day he was traded, yes, it was. It was unceremonious.
Yeah, and the second that the team gets back, obviously, all reporters, beat reporters, writers, everybody's standing there waiting, and they're like, "Well, how shocked were you?" And they point the mic at like Jaron Duran, and he's just like, "Well, I guess it can happen to anybody," but none of them seem shocked. So to me, I think you're right with the concept of like, maybe he was, me first, not the team. And the team was just like, dude, you keep acting like this, you're going to be gone. And then when he gets traded, somebody goes, well, I'm not shocked. And nobody on that team seems surprised at all.
No, and I think they all understood it was really distracting from the product on the field.
Yeah.
And, even though all these guys know that baseball is a business, I think fans need to get better acclimated to that.
Yeah.
And these guys know players come and go, but you really need to put yourselves together as a team to do, to really push towards that team goal first. And I just think that it was taking away from what was going on the field. I think the players all had higher expectations of themselves. Yeah. And they just felt as though there was kind of a disconnect.
Yeah.
So,
like, why are you here tripping us up?
Yeah. I was honestly surprised, obviously, as much as everybody else was.
You texted me.
Yeah.
I was like, you're lying.
Yeah, no, I just I don't know. I've always been a fan of Devers for the most part. I mean, I know he's had some the last couple of years, some attitude issues, I guess. I don't know if that's what you want to call it. But I think everybody, has their own way of dealing with things. And I think, unfortunately for him, it was just one of those things that just kind of spiraled out of control for him. And it just kind of it got to a certain point for your, Red Sox front office to be like, listen, over this. And honestly, I kind of respect it in certain ways, because I just feel like, to a certain extent, it's just like, dude, like, if you're just not going to cooperate with us, then it's just like, you're on the way out, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not going to I'm just not going to stand for it. And, there's some owners out there that, stand for some of that stuff, and they stick with it and try to fight through it. And then it ends up just getting even worse. So it's just like, it's one of those situations where it's just like, listen, like, the writing was on the wall soon, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
and if you don't mind me just taking a minute to sort of go back into some team history, the Red Sox for a very long time in the 1980s and 1990s had a very much a reputation of being 25 cabs for 25 guys. When the game was over, everybody went their own direction. And they started to try to correct that in the early 2000s and get guys who would go back to the old way of doing things, which was game's over, we're all going to go out and get dinner together and that sort of thing. And it was guys back in that day like Trot Nixon is a great example, or Johnny Damon, that these guys really were, they dug into that team concept and became those, Kevin Millar's dirt dogs in 2004. And the fan base really was into that.
Yeah.
And the fans want that again. And I think the team, for the ownership gets bashed a lot, but I think the ownership wants to deliver that experience. And let's face it, these owners all have big egos too. And they do want to win.
Yeah.
They do. Winning matters to them.
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
for sure. You go ahead.
I think that the whole Devers thing was just so crazy, because anytime any guy gets traded on an 8-year deal who isn't exactly underperforming, like he was doing decent.
Yeah.
The beginning of the year was a little tough, but other than that, he was fine. And I think any fan base, no matter if they're connected or not, like, I mean, Philly's die hard, Boston is die hard, that's what makes those cities so alike. And that's why I think our fan bases get along so well the way they do. But when you trade a guy at that point in his contract, when he's not underperforming, any fan is going to go, well, I can't believe this is happening. But then when all the dust settles, those same fans go, why was he acting like that anyway? You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't want to hear about, maybe he was a problem in the locker room. No. He couldn't have been. He was here this long. There's no way. Well, maybe they had enough.
Yeah.
And by the time the dust settles, sometimes those same fans got to go, you know what? We were wrong. Apparently he was a problem.
And the fan split, because I followed a lot of that obviously on social media after it happened.
So did I.
And the fans were very split over. I was in the category of I'm ready to start fresh.
Yeah.
But I would say it was probably about 60% were people who were extremely disappointed and couldn't understand how you would trade this generational bat,
right,
when you didn't really have somebody who's right there to replace him. And what it comes down to, again, as we said, is you have to show up, you have to be there every day, and this was truly addition by subtraction,
right.
And I obviously wish him the best, because it was still amazing to watch him come up through the minors, somebody that they had drafted, and to make it that far. But I will say, he will not thrive in the San Francisco ballpark the way he did in Fenway.
No,
it's not gonna really work out that same way.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So to go to more some fun things here. I want to do two things, whatever, real quick. One of these I didn't talk to you about, but I'm gonna bring it up anyway. So obviously there's been history or so of some players that have played for Boston and Philadelphia, both teams or whatever in the past. I want you to give me 3 players off the top of your head that have played for both the Phillies and the Red Sox in their career.
Well, the first one that comes to mind, only because I was always happy to see him get in the game, is Jonathan Papelbon.
I knew that was where he was going.
And crotch grab behind.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh. What a nutcase.
And Pap was a crazy guy, but I will say he's somebody who was truly committed to playing the game the right way. And
he cared about everything.
And if you follow his social media, his discussions about Devers and that sort of thing, he would not have put up with that, and he probably would have had his hands around his neck, and and he wasn't afraid to get into a scrap. So that's that's one there. I would say probably the guy that I have the most affinity for, the player that I really liked the most, who was in both uniforms, was Shane Victorino, and Shane was just so big for the Red Sox and their playoff run. Key home run, just a guy full of energy but great attitude.
Yeah,
and just truly that good clubhouse presence. So I really feel as though he brought a lot there. As far as other guys go, there's been not as many what I would call frontline sort of guys,
just role players,
but definitely guys that have been so I would say the other guy that I have a real soft spot for, Daniel Nava.
Daniel Nava.
Now and Daniel Nava, again, for those Phillies fans who aren't aware of this, the Red Sox signed Daniel Nava out of independent ball, and he spent
Camden River Shark stuff,
and he spent some time. Yeah, I want to say he was with the St. Paul Saints before they signed him, and he played in their minors for a little while, and then they had a need and brought him up, not really with much expectation.
Yeah.
It was a guy to fill a roster spot who had some positional flexibility, and Daniel Nava is one of the only people in the majors to hit a grand slam in his first major league at bat.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
That's awesome.
And to take that a little bit further, it was on the first major league pitch that he saw.
Wow.
That he took that ball.
Imagine that. I mean, come on now. That moment.
Those are what I would call my three most recent,
favorite. Okay.
Those are good choices right there. I like the Victorino one, obviously.
Well, and Victorino's loved by both fan bases too.
He is.
The Phillies fan base obviously loves him, and like when he goes to Savannah Bananas, he goes to Boston, and I'm like, that's so cool that that both fan bases are linked to him like that. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
And I'm always sending the social media stuff to Peter because Shane Victorino still is revered on Boston social media.
Yeah.
For sure.
As he should be.
And, all right, real quick, I have two questions really. I mean, if you want to combine both of them, you really could realistically. But I want you to give your most memorable Red Sox moment live, and then I want you to give your most recent Phillies moment live, because you and I have been to a lot of Phillies games, even when the Red Sox were in town. We're always getting tickets to those type of games. So give me your most memorable moment live for both teams.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put an asterisk on my Red Sox memory live.
Okay.
Because it wasn't actually the Boston Red Sox. It was at the time their AAA team, the Pawtucket Red Sox. And I went to a game because it was cheap to go there. You paid at the time, it was like $7 a ticket, something like that.
AA still that much.
And I'll never forget seeing a doubleheader in Pawtucket, and the pitcher in one of those games was a young guy who had just been elevated to AAA by the name of Roger Clemens.
Wow. That's awesome.
And Roger Clemens back then, or when you had a minor league doubleheader, it was 7 innings.
Yeah. Right.
And Roger Clemens, 7-inning shutout, just dominant. First time I'd ever seen him live.
Wow.
You're there in a minor league ballpark, so you are seeing everything. The view, it's right there. And Clemens just mowed these guys down. He was truly like a man among boys.
Yeah.
At that game. And at the time I was like, gee, this guy looks like he's pretty good. Like the stuff they've been talking about in the newspaper really seems to be right. Not knowing the type of career that he would go on to.
Yeah.
And when he made it to the majors and his first couple of seasons, again, being so dominant in 1986. In 1986, his first full season, that was the year he threw his first 20 strikeout game. Wow. But just seeing him come up and saying, hey, I saw him when he was in the minors, that was like a big deal. Yeah. As far as my favorite Phillies game live was probably sitting out with you in the first row in right field on opening day and having having a home run ball miss us by probably a row and a handful of seats to the side, and then having a couple of other home run balls fly over our heads later. But we did actually get to see ourselves on TV later.
He did.
Nice.
Went over.
And who hit that homer?
That was
Mr. Bryce Harper, who was on the Nationals at the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No,
that was.
But didn't we? Was one of the other home runs?
I don't know if there was. There might have been another home run, but
Yeah,
I know one of them was Bryce Harper.
Yeah,
I remember that very
there
vividly.
was a second that wasn't quite as close, but it was still our section.
Yeah, it was still like in that area.
And I want to say that was who is he now playing second base for Seattle?
Oh,
J.P. Crawford.
J.P. Crawford.
No, he's shortstop. Yeah, second base.
Oh, Jorge Polanco.
Jorge Polanco.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Jorge
Oh my
Polanco.
gosh. So many fallen Phillies, man.
I
It's
know.
like
That
there's
was
so many.
That was a Jorge moment
Nice.
Jorge.
That's cool.
at the time. But we've seen a bunch of great games
We have,
in
yep.
Philly going back to the first year that Odubel Herrera was
Right.
playing for the Phillies.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
What a time that was.
Rule 5 draft pick.
yeah.
We went to a lot of games through those tough years, so it was
Yeah.
like but there's some good
Yeah.
Small moments.
Do you have one that's a favorite
for both. So
live memory?
Yeah.
And,
So
you've been to both. So
yeah, we've been to Fenway Park. I would say for Red Sox one, I think. I mean, honestly, it actually was a game against the Phillies. It might have been like 2018, I think. But I think one of the things that stood out to me about being there, which I really like, was the seventh inning, singing "Sweet Caroline" and the whole stadium sing it together. There's something I think is really cool, like one of those traditions. And I'll never forget that game. I'm pretty sure the Phils lost that game. 2018, you guys had a dominant team, and we did not. So
I was gonna say we definitely did not. Yeah.
but it was still a good memory, and like we've been back, since then or whatever, to Fenway Park, and great stadium, and it's an awesome environment. And then I mean for Phillies, it's like I think one of the most for you and I, because we've been to so many home openers, was 2019 when that was Bryce's first year with the Phillies. I think there was so much energy going into that day, and I was so excited. I had my new jersey and stuff like that, and we had good seats too. So ended up being a good moment. But that's the thing, we've had so many like over the years of like live moments that's been pretty cool for the most part. So it's been awesome. So
And for any of your listeners who haven't been to a Phil's home opener, the Phils do it as well as anybody.
Yeah.
And really make it an event to be at.
Yeah.
So those have been great.
I went to when I went to Fenway, it was actually opening day for Fenway.
oh wow.
Because so me and Gabby planned a Boston trip, and of course when I hear Boston, the first thing I think is Fenway. So I thought to myself, I'm like, I texted her, I said, hey, can you see if there's a Boston game that weekend, like whatever weekend you're thinking about going? She's like, yeah. So she looked and there wasn't, they were away or they something, whatever it was. Well, the strike happened that year, so it pushed everything back like 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to see opening day at Fenway. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they got beat by the Twins like 6-1. But Alex Verdugo hit a home run.
There you go.
Every time I hear his name, that's immediately what I think of.
Yeah.
But no, it was awesome. Like Fenway is an unbelievable stadium. Unbelievable.
It really is. And most opening days at Fenway are the Red Sox having a lead late into the game, and then whoever the latest closer is that they signed giving up a game-losing home run in the top of the ninth inning.
Yikes.
That's I mean, I go back to the
That's
days
tough.
of
I can relate.
I go back to the days
Yeah.
of closers like Lee Smith, who was an incredible closer. Not immune to the
To the curse.
to the opening day curse.
Oh man, that's tough.
That's cool.
So we're gonna go into Pete's picks for this next series that we've been reviewing for the last like half an hour.
I know. Yeah,
so
we will.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my picks, and then we'll see Mike's view about it going into the series, whatever. So, so I just think for this series upcoming, I think we do have the pitching advantage over the Red Sox. I think you said it earlier, we don't have to play Crochet this
He
series.
played today.
So we do it.
Shout out to him for however many fantasy points he gave me.
Yeah. So we get to avoid that, so we don't have to deal with it. I will say the Phillies take 2 out of 3 in this series. But I will say though it won't be easy. Just because, like I said it earlier when we had Kyle on, I just feel like the Red Sox, they're kind of on a momentum thing right now, even coming out of the All-Star break. So, and they always play us well. They match up with us pretty well for the most part. But I think if anything is going to give us that advantage in the series is let us take 2 or 3. It will be the pitching. So it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be an exciting series. So there's my picks for the upcoming series.
Sweet.
I think that's. I think you're right on with the 2 out of 3. So since I agree with you on that, I'm going to just drill a little bit deeper on that. I really think, the opening game is going to be Zach Wheeler against Walker Buehler, and Walker Buehler has not been in school lately, so Alex Cora has been walking around the dugout saying Bueller. Yeah, Bueller. He's been very hittable, and Zach Wheeler is sort of the type of pitcher that kind of gives a lot of teams fits, and he'll give the Red Sox fits too. Speaking of fits, moving along to Game 2, the Phillies are going to face Richard Fitts.
Oh,
okay.
As the Red Sox starter, and the Phil's going to have Christopher Sanchez going.
Yeah, Sanchez.
Richard Fitts is a guy who I think could pitch deep against the Phillies, so that could get to the 5th or 6th inning. Does get some strikeouts. He can be, because you haven't seen him a lot, he can be a little bit of a challenge.
Don't have much film on him or something like that.
Exactly. But I do think that Christopher Sanchez has a huge advantage going into that. I do think the type of movement on his pitches, and keeping in mind that the Red Sox have a predominantly left-handed lineup, much like the Phillies, they do have right-handed bats that they will put in there, like Rob Refsnyder and Romy Gonzalez. But you don't see a lot of guys that have the exact movement that Sanchez has. So I really feel like the advantage is there. Where I think things even out a little bit is going to be the 3rd game of the series, because Lucas Giolito is going to be going. His last game was not great, but he has been on an incredible run and is racking up strikeouts. And
shockingly.
And the Phillies have been, sort of
striking out,
not immune to the strikeout lately. So there's that. And the Phils are going to have Jesus Luzardo going. And which Jesus Luzardo are you getting?
Exactly. Yeah.
If
nobody knows.
He's really pitched well once out of the last 4 starts out. Is he back in his groove? If he's back in his groove, that could be a sweep. But if he's not back in his groove, the Red Sox have a very hard-working, pesky lineup that's gonna try and get that pitch count up.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think he's gonna be 2 out of 3 for the Phils.
Yeah.
I just,
we can only hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
It's like it's come back to bite me. I can show it out.
But the Phils have lost 3 series in a row. So.
It's true.
They have.
That means they're due for a series win.
Yeah. And we're going to the game tomorrow night, so that's gonna be pretty fun. It's gonna be a good time. So I think we're on like 3rd base behind. Yeah. 3rd base side or whatever.
Very much looking forward to that.
Yeah. Hopefully catch a foul ball. I mean, have I ever told you I never gotten a ball out of all the games I've gone to in my life?
I got a batting practice ball because we were in Pittsburgh and they were doing it, and people were like yelling because Sanchez got the ball, and people were like, Sanchez, and everything went quiet. And Gabby goes, Christopher. He turns around and throws me the ball, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I had that one, and then I got one from. I think I got one at. Was it spring training? No, I brought a ball and then Stubbs signed it. But I got a couple. I got a spring training ball from the dugout.
Okay.
And I dropped it at first, and the guy next to me was like, "Oh, he dropped it. He shouldn't get another. You shouldn't give it to him again." And then they tossed it back up to me again, and I got. Yeah, I was like, "All right, buddy. I'm buzzed trying to catch a baseball." It's like, okay, dude, leave me alone, please.
Yeah. Hopefully my luck changes tomorrow. We'll see.
That'd be cool.
We'll have to keep an eye out for that.
That would be great.
Yeah. And real quick, one last question, because we do have some good food options at Citizens Bank Park. What do you think you're gonna grab tomorrow when we go? Or what's your favorite for the most part?
I'm a big fan of Bull's Barbecue.
Yeah.
Only because my first visit to a Phillies game, I'm dating myself here, was in 1978.
Wow.
Which was at the old Veterans Stadium. Back then,
a fairly new Veteran Stadium at that point.
It was dumpy back then too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But back then the Bull was playing 3rd base.
Wow.
For the Phils, I went and I do have one good memory about it as far as a lucid memory, which was Pete Rose was playing for the Phillies at the time, and that was game number 33 that he got a hit in his 44 game hit streak.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was there for that, sitting in right field, in fair territory, but several rows back, and again, that was like a very exciting time. I was like a 12-year-old kid at the time, so it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
My brother took me to that game back then.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good
So
core memory.
I would say getting back to that food, Bull's Barbecue is a big one for me. I know that you're a fan of Krabby Fries, but
my maybe tomorrow we'll see. I don't know. I've been cutting back on the crab fries recently when I've gone to games because of the salt, whatever.
Yeah,
but anyway, but like
because of the salt. This guy.
But I'm hoping they got the Kyle's Cutlet sandwich tomorrow because I would I'd kill for that right now.
I just got the burn ends cheesesteak last night for the first time from Bull's Barbecue.
Well, I did see that they are having a feature for this 3-game series, which is they have a pizza shop that is going to be doing some stuff there, and I want to say it's some kind of like spicy chicken cheesesteak they're going to be having or something like that. So I got to be honest with you, that may go right to the head of the class.
Yeah, it might have to. Yeah,
that sounds
Speaking
good.
of food now, it's making me hungry.
Yeah,
we gotta go eat dinner soon. But listen, Mike, we appreciate you joining us today.
Absolutely.
It's really cool. I know you're a big supporter of the podcast and stuff like that, so we appreciate it.
Totally.
Even being on that Red Sox side, still respected. So we appreciate that. And let's have some fun tomorrow night. Should be
Thank
cool.
you very much for having me.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
Looking forward to that game, and we'll see if on the next podcast that Pete came back with a ball.
Yeah, I hope so.
Dude,
it'll be sitting right here.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. It will be. But other than that, though, we will be back probably after this series. We'll see. We'll do a series in review.
Yeah,
we'll let you guys know. So just keep updated on the social medias and stuff like that. I've been tweeting a little bit more on Twitter and stuff like that, and posting on Instagram. So just keep up with that, and we'll let you guys know. You got anything else though?
Nope. Go Phils.
Go Phils. We out of here.
Phils.
Peace.